So I'm going to introduce you to Ross Carlin from Sutton in Ashfield, who is the founder and managing director of the Good Food Group and also the Buyers Discovery Club. He was a finalist fairly recently in the Food and Drink Entrepreneur of the Year Award for 2022. And he's going to tell you a little bit more about what he does. Hello, Ross. Afternoon to you.
Hi, Andy. How are you doing?
I'm all right. Welcome to the show. So,
thank you very much.
Tell me a little bit about your business then. How did it come about?
Well, essentially, I've been working for many different businesses around the country, really, for a number of years, mainly within food and supplements and healthy food, really. And basically, I thought, there's got to be a better way to be able to, help small brands. So we were working on small brands whilst I was working for other businesses, and actually, what we wanted was some support to get into the major retailers. And, from that side of the fence, I knew that there was an opportunity to create a business that would allow smaller brands to be able to get some visibility and shelf space in major retailers. So what I decided to do was set up my own consultancy. So I set up on my own to begin with. And basically what I set out to do is to help smaller brands to get visibility with major retailers like your grocers and high street retailers, to be able to get them on the shelf, grow those businesses in the retailers, and take on the big companies that take up the majority of the shelf space.
Okay, so how come they couldn't do this themselves? A smaller retailer making a really nice food product, can they not just go to a supermarket and say, "Oh, we'd like to be on your shelf, please"?
You can, but you've got to understand there's thousands and thousands of brands every single day that are trying to get into these retail shelves. It's a big opportunity. If you get listed in 1,000 Tesco's, that completely changes your business overnight. So everybody tries. If you've got a small brand, you will try, but there's a lot of stumbling blocks. There's a lot of things that you need to understand that buyers are looking for when they're approached by brands or by companies such as ours. And also, there's a lot of information that you need to be providing the buyers up front to make sure that they understand that you're capable of supporting them as well.
Yeah. So how do you decide which brands you want to represent?
So what we do is we work reversely to trying to pitch products out to buyers. We actually support the buyers. So what we do is we go into the retailers. We work with the buyers on actually what they should be doing on their shelf, what's happening in the market at the moment, where the trends are. We create a whole bespoke plan for that particular retailer and support them in terms of being their support mechanism to the buying team. And what that allows us to do is it allows us to then understand where the gaps are. So we can then utilize what we've got as the Buyers Discovery Club, which is a platform for thousands and thousands of great, innovative young brands. And we can basically pull out those products and make sure that they match what the buyer's looking for, and then put the proposals forward and support those small brands with their sales element once they're in the store, because there's a lot that goes into managing, the product when it's on the shelf. It's all well and good getting on the shelf, but it's getting the products into the customers' baskets that's important as well.
Yeah. And you're doing this and helping these brands out. Tell me a little bit about some of the food stuffs that you've put there on the shelves of the nation. You got any you're really proud of?
Yeah, so we work with a lot of health-driven brands. So basically, healthier for you products. So we're doing a lot of work at the moment with the likes of Superdrug, with the likes of Co-op, Tesco and Morrison's, in helping them with their healthier options. So what we're really excited about is supporting brands that try and make a difference to health. So such as, we've got a crisp brand, which is a seaweed crisp brand, for example, which doesn't sound too appealing, but actually the products are amazing and they've got great health benefits. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to help to, put those products on the shelf, front and focus for customers to be able to pick up, rather than picking up unhealthy snacking products. We're trying to change the way in which shopper habits happen.
And I'm wondering how the competition works as well, because there are some brands, you'd expect to go into any major retailer and they would have that particular brand on their shelf. But for the smaller ones that you're dealing with, I imagine there's more of a selling point if you can only be on the shelf of one, because then if people like it, that's the only store they will be able to go to in order to get it. So do you find some of the retailers saying, yeah, we want this one, but it's an exclusive, it's only on our shelf?
Absolutely, yeah. That's one of the big sticking points, to be honest with you. But that's where we'll have this conversation with the buyers and make them understand that, okay, if that's the case, we'll need to be in more stores than just 100, for example. But what that enables us to do is it enables us to work more closely with those buyers and those retail stores to be able to get more visibility on those brands. What that allows us to do is it allows us to have more visibility against the competition. So if we're on the shelf next to Walkers, for example, we haven't got the budget that Walkers have. But what we can do is we can work with them on an exclusive basis to improve our visibility when we're in those stores, which ultimately means more people notice the brand and more people make healthier choices.
Which is good. Ross, look, we'll continue the conversation in a minute. Thank you for telling me a bit about what you do and being up for an award for what you do. But I think we'll talk a little bit more in just a few minutes about Ross's background and growing up in Nottinghamshire, all that kind of stuff, with one man who is a food entrepreneur. He's from Sutton in Ashfield. He's Ross Carlin. It was explaining more about his business, how he takes small food brands and gets them on the major supermarket shelves earlier on. But Ross, what we didn't talk about is like you growing up in Nottinghamshire bit. So, I mean, you're a Nottinghamshire lad, aren't you? Through and through. But I presume when you're in the kind of business you're in, you've travelled and lived perhaps all over the country.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's part and parcel of of developing within this type of role. So yeah, I've lived in Manchester, London. London was actually living in a hotel during the week, so that wasn't so glamorous. In Leeds. So yeah, I've had to travel all around the country to work in the trade and to develop my skill set really before setting up on my own.
And the business that you've set up now, you did set up in Nottinghamshire.
Yeah, absolutely. We're still based in Mansfield, so we've got our offices at the Pleasant Mill in Mansfield. So for me, it was all about making sure that we create opportunity within Nottinghamshire as well.
So how did you become like a food brand guru then? What's your background?
Oh, I get called a guru. I don't know if I am. No, from my background, it's just working with more sports nutrition and wellness brands actually. So I worked with a number of the UK and world's largest health brands through supplements and food, but basically worked across all the different departments. So I've worked in the marketing departments, sales through retail and online, but also the product development, which is kind of where I set the skill set of developing new and exciting products from that side. To then, understand, what the market needs and what the market's looking for.
Yeah, and how does it feel to be back in Nottinghamshire? Have your business at home?
It's great, and actually, it's quite rewarding when we're talking to the major retail buyers. We can be talking to the directors of Tesco one minute and Superdrug the next, and then talking to Selfridges and having meetings all around the country. But actually, when they ask, and they all ask where we're based and where we're from, we say Mansfield in Nottingham, and they're quite surprised because they don't work with many businesses from this area. But that's quite a privilege, I think, that we can set ourselves apart, and we don't have to move to London and we don't have to move to Manchester in order to get the right talent and the right people in the business. Yeah.
So have you got offices, or do you do it all from home?
No, we've got offices. We have offices at Pleasant Mill in Mansfield. So some of the team come into the office full time, but we do have flexible working as well. So people work from home certain days. But then, ordinarily we're trying to recruit as much as possible within Nottinghamshire, because for us it's good to have the team connecting together. But we do have some people who are remote, in other areas of the country where they've really got the specialist skill set.
Yeah. Now, the only insight, really, I have into the world of work you've been describing is watching The Apprentice. Because I'm a massive fan of The Apprentice. I love it. And nearly every series there is a task where they have to create something and then go and try and sell it to a major supermarket, get it on the shelves, do exactly what you're doing. So I'm wondering what you make of that show and whether it's accurate, whether it feels realistic.
So the Apprentice, not necessarily sure, it's not exactly how it works. They pick people from The Apprentice because of their character and charisma, and not necessarily their business acumen. But in terms of other programs, Dragon's Den, as you mentioned, that's one that is quite on point to how it works. You've got to have everything backed up when you're having conversations with buyers and other businesses to sell your products. You've got to have all the commercial information. You've got to have an understanding of the market, and you've got to have an understanding of why this product is better than others, and ultimately how we're going to help that person, which is the buyer in the major retailer, to drive more money. And that's what it's all about. These conversations are about trying to increase profitability and revenue for the big retailers.
Ross, it's been great to chat to you. Thank you for lifting the lid on the world of getting stuff on supermarket shelves. It's been interesting, that, and good luck with your business.
Many thanks for having me on, and thank you very much. Catch you soon.
Cheers. Ross Carlin, Life Lessons guest today on BBC Radio Nottingham from Sutton in Ashfield, runs his business now in Mansfield. And if you've ever wondered how stuff ends up on supermarket shelves, it's not just a case of it being a simple transaction. There are all kinds of people working in the background, helping those retailers to make the decisions about what they should have on their shelves. One of them's Ross.